One fun way, or not fun way, that China's been changing our life forever is how it has been influencing Hollywood. Now, it doesn't only influence Hollywood, it influences games. Okay? We're going to talk about
both. Yeah.
Both. And it changes it to the detriment of everyone.
Yeah.
You see, the Chinese market is like this pot of gold that Hollywood and, game studios and stuff go after because of the vast number of people there. They're willing to sacrifice almost anything to get their product sold. So if you can pack Chinese theaters, it means you're going to make a huge profit. What they don't realize, though, is very often they're dealing with a rat trap, Like what happened when they were selling tickets. Remember that whole situation?
Oh, yeah.
They were selling tickets to like Transformers or whatever it was, some Western movie. I went to go see a movie. It was a Western movie. And they took a ticket for a Chinese movie.
Transformers.
No, it wasn't Transformers. It was some other piece of
I don't think you would go
garbage.
see
No,
Transformers.
but it was another. It was a Jason Statham movie.
Okay.
But I can't remember the name. But I went to go see it anyway. But so what they did was they printed out a ticket for a Chinese movie, and they just crossed it out and wrote with pen on there, whatever the hell it was, the Transporter 4 or whatever it was that I went to go see. Okay.
Right.
And I looked at this and I was like, what's going on here? It turns out this is quite common because they want to boost the box office of local movies, okay, because of corruption and all that kind of stuff. They sell the local movies ticket instead of the Hollywood one. Mm-hmm. And they give you the Hollywood, I mean, whatever the way they did it, they give you the ticket for the Chinese movie, but they've just crossed it out and written it so you can walk into the right one. So in the box office, it looks like the Chinese movie did incredibly well, but that's because everyone's watching the Hollywood movies. Mm. So
you think they would have found a better way to do that?
They did.
Did they? Okay.
They had these. There was this thing where like pensioners can watch movies for like almost free or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
And so
65 plus or something.
Yeah. So what they were doing was they were filling up theaters with so-called pensioners. But what they'd done is they'd just basically written off and given the pensioner tickets out to no one. Threw them in the bin and just like booked up the theaters. So the theaters were empty playing the film, and it looked like the Chinese movie was doing very well.
Right.
They were doing crap like that. Remember? So
yes,
ridiculous.
I
So
do
Hollywood really gets screwed over a lot, but they still make a lot of money.
Yes.
So it's this whole idea of like, if we can get our movie into China, we're going to make bank, right?
Yeah. So what Hollywood does, they know that in China, this is born out of piracy, by the way. When I first moved to China, going to the movie theater was not that common.
No, because everybody watched everything for free online.
Correct. Or you'd go to the DVD shop.
Yeah,
so
which is all fake DVDs.
Every street corner had a DVD shop. And I'm talking up until like, I saw them up until like 2015, 2016.
I've still got pictures of myself in one of those in,
I used to go to those places and check it out.
Yeah, and that must have also been about 2016, 2017, yeah.
They'd have some weird stuff. I wish I had some footage from back then, but what they would be is there would be a whole shop and it would say DVD. They had Blu-ray and stuff too. Mm-hmm. And you go in there and they would have sleeve after sleeve of videos. So there would be like a Hideo Miyazaki section. And there would be like his whole box set. But if somebody made the copies of these DVDs,
Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao, whatever.
You're thinking
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Well, let's say as a Hideo Kojima.
I know they all look the same to you, man.
Stop. Get out of here. Yeah, I'm a fan of both, by the way.
Yeah.
I like Hideo Kojima and Hayao
I got to show you two
Miyazaki.
different photos. You got to show me which one's
I know
which.
what they look like. I can actually picture them right now.
I'm actually going to just show you a picture of Shinji Abe, and you'll be like, "That's him."
That's stop it.
Okay.
Anyway, so you'd go into these shops, and it was a very Chinese thing. It was very like only in the mainland you'd get this. You wouldn't get this in Hong Kong.
No.
So you'd go into these shops, and it's kind of like going into a Blockbuster or something, but it's 10 RMB DVD. So we're talking $1.
Sure.
$1.50 for a DVD. You'd have weird stuff. You'd have movies that you take them home sometimes and you'd watch it and it would be like filmed in a Hungarian movie theater and there's people like eating popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. Getting up and walking in front of the camera.
Yeah, but it's got like a label on it, right? Like it's got like a label like it was printed out properly.
Yeah, it looks like it's legitimate. Yeah.
Then you'd get weird shit.
Yeah.
And I would go by the weird shit. I remember I bought this one DVD. It was... had the picture of the Twin Towers getting hit with planes.
Yeah.
And it was like the secret truth of 9/11. So this is being sold in mainland China.
Yeah.
And you put it in your DVD player, and it's like a bunch of random ass clips. Some clips from horror movies, some clips from like B horror movies, and then some clips of news broadcasts that are dubbed over in Chinese about 9/11, which are not saying what's actually the news is saying.
Yeah.
Showing like all these weird conspiracy theories, and you'd buy these random ass DVDs.
I got tricked once or twice. There was one where it had like Army of Darkness 2, and I'm like, did they make an Army of Darkness 2? And it had on the cover this really weird looking cover art. And I was like, wait a second, it's got like a wave.
Yeah.
And it's got like the Fast and Furious Charger leaping out of the wave, and there's like an Eiffel Tower, and I'm like, this is really weird. And then you go put it in some like weird French film, like an art film or something from 1960 or something. They just made this stuff up.
And because porn is illegal, you'd get racy ones, and it would be cut clips sometimes of someone filming a computer.
Yeah.
And it's not even porn. It's like cut clips from rated R movies or like some weird French movie where her boobs show or something.
Sure.
They'd like splice these together and sell these like hot DVDs, but they would also have real porn DVDs copied from Japanese ones.
Yeah.
Either way in the back, and you'd have to ask or know someone.
It got to a point where they were being cracked down on, and a lot of those DVD places you'd have to go and they were hidden. They'd be behind like a weird curtain
not
or like
not in third tier cities.
Yeah, well, in Shenzhen, it'd be like a
Shenzhen,
weird curtain, or you'd have to go up a flight of stairs into this weird room, and they'd open it up, and
Right.
they had cameras to make sure you weren't the cops coming in. It was kind of bizarre.
It's in rural China. I say rural, in cities with less than 5 million people.
Sure.
They were still everywhere.
Yeah.
And you could just rock up and buy stuff. But the point is, all of this was born. This fascination with Hollywood for China, and that Hollywood's fascination with the Chinese market was born out of piracy, because there was no market that went to the movie theaters. I remember when I would go on dates. I would say
we wouldn't go on dates.
I said would go on dates. I didn't say with you.
Yeah, exactly.
When Winston and I would date.
Date women.
Women.
Yes.
When we weren't dating each other.
No.
When I would take girls on dates, it was quite a treat in the beginning for me to take them to a movie theater because they were so expensive.
They were. Yes.
They're wildly cheaper now.
Yes.
You can still pay a lot of money.
It used to be like 75 RMB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to imagine, like, for somebody that makes, back then, especially when I first got to China, like, let's say a girl is a teacher or she works as a accountant.
Oh, yeah, office person.
Office girl.
Or,
right?
Factory worker or something.
I remember I took this girl on a date. She worked as she translated signs for government parks. Okay,
Right.
So I would hang out with her, and she would pour tea or whatever, and like entertain guests and stuff.
Yeah,
nice girl. Anyway, she had a decent job. She was educated, had a bachelor's degree, but she only made about 1,800 RMB a month back then. So for her to go spend 75 RMB on a movie, you got to imagine that's like, you would say, it's like you making $1,800 a month here, and then spending $75 on a movie ticket.
Yeah, I mean, and don't forget, 75 RMB, especially back then, could get like
that's what I'm saying.
A massive meal.
Imagine it's dollars.
Like a whole day.
Imagine it's dollars.
It's like you could have meals every day of the week for 70. I mean, I'm saying like you could have a 15 RMB meal.
Oh, that's high end.
Yeah.
You could have 5 RMB meals.
Exactly. So 75 is like a week's worth
it's huge, right?
Food.
Of food. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Imagine spending a week's worth of food salary on a movie. So for me, 75 RMB wasn't that much, right? It wasn't nothing.
Yeah, and they were even more expensive, 130,
Oh, yeah. I remember spending over 100. Now, the price came down with competition, and what happened was when movies became affordable, that moment, I would say maybe 2012, 2013, when movies started to get affordable, and the average Chinese person's salary is raising while the movie ticket prices are coming down, it became absolutely the most popular thing you could do sans KTV, to go to see a movie. Yeah. So all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if people are pirating your stuff at that point, because the sheer chunk of people that can now afford to go buy a movie ticket in China is astronomical. I mean, it's 3 to 4 times the ticket sales that you'd get in the US.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that becomes a very palatable market for Hollywood. They start to salivate over this potential clientele base. So what happens is a natural thing. China's an oppressive dictatorship, right? You have a Pepsi over there if you want.
Oh, I do. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's right.
China is an oppressive dictatorship that has a censorship board. Now, the censorship board has to go through everything domestic and foreign, but particularly they have to comb through everything foreign. Wow, that's some ASMR. You're going to deafen people.
I think this mic's got to cut off.
Okay.
All right.
So what they do is they have to go through the censorship board and make sure everything's okay. It has to be approved by
Warm Pepsi. It's been there for a week on my desk.
has to be approved by the Chinese Ministry of Film.
Right.
Okay. And the Chinese Ministry of Film is part and parcel part of the propaganda board, the censorship board.
There's only a number of films they allow every year, right?
So
How many?
so this is what happened.
Do you remember how many?
I think it was at its peak 30, and then now it's been dwindled down to sub 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 15 or
15,
maybe
I
less.
think. Yeah, it said sub 20.
I'll figure it
Okay.
out.
So what happens is, in order to get into that very amazing market with billion potential ticket sales, you could try to get your film passed through the Chinese censor board, but that didn't become good enough. So you'd have your version that you'd release in the US, and then you'd have your version that you'd release in China. That Chinese version would have anything cut out related to Tiananmen Square, Tibet, anything that paints China in a negative light, right? Mm-hmm. So what happened was, to get into that threshold, let's just say there's 34 films allowed each year, okay?
I think it's less than that.
Okay, I'm saying back then. Mm-hmm. In order to be one of those films, you didn't just censor your movie. You had to start with it being not bad. You had to start with it having nothing offensive in it for the Chinese market. And not only that, you had to add things in to make it more likely that they were going to pick it up. So you started to see films not just have a censored version. They would start out censored for the Chinese market and then add in like heroes that had to do with China, or add in quotes. I remember this one movie, it said like, I come from the future, and let me tell you, you tell your kids to start studying Mandarin. Stuff
Isn't
like
that
that.
Looper or something?
Looper or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff started to creep into Hollywood movies. And now what we see is films that start out with a censorship board in the US
Yes.
for China,
Yeah.
adding elements in to be pro-China, to make China look good for domestic American audiences as soft power. That's how far we've fallen.
The fact of the matter is, okay, think about this. You're a Hollywood studio, you're making a movie, okay? Now, you want your movie to succeed around the world, okay? But you know that if you release the one you really want to release, like maybe there's a map in it that has Taiwan on the map or whatever, okay? Maybe you mention Taiwan, maybe you mention Tibet, maybe something in it just doesn't go well with the Chinese censorship. Maybe, you know, there's a person in there who mentions Tiananmen Square or whatever. There could be anything. You know it's not going to make it into the Chinese market. Even the smallest little slight, like having skeletons and stuff in your movie, it's not going to make it into the Chinese market, right? So you have to change all of that, because if you were to release the film the way you want it, you would have to film a whole bunch of extra crap and cut a lot of extra crap just so it could make it into the Chinese market. So rather than make basically two separate cuts of a film, you just budget down and you make one.
Right.
So it ends up being this China-friendly version that now everybody has to watch. But now what you're watching is a watered-down product, something that's missing a lot of what the original director and screenwriter and everything wanted to show. And this is how China has changed our movies and made them worse and crapper and more lame, because the Chinese Communist Party is so sensitive about so many different things, and stupid little things you wouldn't even think about, like the fact that they don't like skeletons and things, that your movie is going to be shitter when you go and watch it in your local theater just to appease the Chinese Communist Party. All right?
Correct.
And that's the big problem that we have, is that Hollywood has been pandering. And I'm sure you've noticed tons of movies where it's suddenly really weird and out of place that they have a Chinese product placement, like in the Transformers movie where the guy's drinking Mengniu milk and making a big thing
or
out of
in
it.
Iron Man, when all of a sudden they're using a TCL phone, which nobody uses here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that kind of garbage.
Right.
Suddenly it's like very forced. So there was that, I watched this awful movie with like King Kong Island or something.
Why would you watch that?
It was I don't know, it was like a free movie ticket I got, or it was something like that. And all of a sudden in 1940s America, they're going to this Kong Island, there's randomly a Chinese actress in there, you know, who doesn't have any lines really, and it's not really contributing to the film. You
Just use connections to get in there.
I mean, no, but the whole point is, no, they put the Chinese actress in there so that it can appeal to the Chinese audience.
Right.
Okay, and to China, so that people will want to go and watch it in China.
Right.
I'm just saying that things are very artificially put into Hollywood movies in order to make it appeal to China, which really kind of ruins a lot of the movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. So let's get on to Shang-Chi.
So just Shang-Chi. So it's pronounced CHI, which everyone will pronounce, and it's supposed to be pronounced as Chi. But
That
for
would be
Winston and
QI.
for Winston and I, we that speak Chinese, it should be QI if it's pronounced that. So CHI is chur.
Shang-Chi means start eating, basically, you know? You know, kai fan, Shang-Chi, get on top of the food, like eat
Get
food.
on top of that food.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, man.
Anyway, Shang-Chi, I ended up seeing it as homework for this show.
Okay, you went to watch it.
I went to see it in the theater. And I was, first of all, just want to get this out of the way, was expecting it to be a complete Panda Bear movie. I walked in completely getting ready to be disappointed.
Sure.
I thought it was going to be a Panda Bear movie for China. I gotta say, it kind of wasn't.
Okay.
There wasn't really anything pro-CCP or anything that was forced to be pro-China. I would say it's pro-Asian. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. And
Nope.
I wrote a little review here. I wrote some notes.
You have a review. Okay,
Just a
go for
couple notes. I wrote, it was a decent movie. It was too actiony for me. What do you expect from this kind of movie?
It's a Marvel movie.
I don't like Marvel movies. So I have to say that's my initial bias. Okay. I really don't like Marvel movies. The only Marvel movies I liked was the Thor ones.
Yeah, I
Those
like
are
that.
quite
The one
funny.
with the kind of 80s vibe to it, whichever one that was. You know, where you went to that weird planet and it had Jeff Goldblum in it.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Thor. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that one was really
I like
good.
those ones because they're funny. So I'm not a huge Marvel movie fan. Leong was a good villain. That's the actor. And Simu Liu played a great character as well. I thought the characters were great.
Okay.
The world building wasn't great, I thought. I thought it could have been a better... You know, like Black Panther and all those other ones, they have like a huge world. Or like Thor, right?
Okay.
There's all those worlds around it, right?
Yeah.
The world of this movie was kind of weak, I thought.
I'm seeing a lot of like Chinese mythology in the background.
And that's
There's
fine.
A lot of Chinese imagery.
But it's not forced. It just takes place in China.
Yeah.
It's not. It's for some of it. It's not. It's not like put in there because this is going to be pro CCP.
Yeah.
Pro CCP is when it's like China's going to rule the world.
I told you. We show
What?
this trailer. We're going to get copyright. See,
It was
we've
fair. It
detected-
was fair use.
We've detected copyright audio and video in your stream. Your stream
Audio
may be
and video.
temporary.
There's no audio.
Well, there's video. Your stream may be blocked. Oh no, Hollywood, you bastards. Anyway,
That's. It should be fine.
Well-
Everyone can see it. They'll do a quick check. Can everyone see it?
I'm sure it's fine. They're just going to try and throttle it in some
We'll
regions.
just leave a picture of him up here.
I warned him.
It was fine. Everyone else uses movie trailers for stuff. I use movie trailers in my stuff. I never get hit
Okay, well, anyway.
because it's made for distribution. We'll find out what it actually was. What if it was Sukachun and me?
Yeah, I wonder if it's Sukatrim, man.
Anyway, let me finish my review here.
Okay, finish your review.
I wrote, it was cool that he started as a car valet and ended up a superhero. I kind of like that rags to riches thing. It was pretty awesome. The stunts and choreography are great. Not my thing.
Yeah.
Not a huge kung fu. I love kung fu movies like from the 80s, especially in Hong Kong stuff, but I don't watch it for the fighting scenes.
Yeah.
I like it because it's funny.
Right.
And I thought this movie took itself way too seriously.
Okay.
Too derivative. And that's just Marvel in general. Like, what do you expect from a Marvel
Sure.
movie, right? I think overall, I said it was a talented cast, but not an incredible tale, and I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I think if you like that kind of thing, you'll like the movie.
Sure.
Now, I expected it to be a Super Panda Bear movie to China, but what I will say is, of course, Marvel expected this to be a massive hit in
Yeah.
China, right?
Yeah.
So they went into, I'm not going to say they completely made it for that reason. What I want to say is that was a huge added bonus for them to do this, right? It's almost a guaranteed shoe-in
Yeah.
for them to allow this movie into China.
Right.
Because other Marvel movies are allowed into China for the most part. Mm-hmm. Of course, this one would be. Now, why wasn't it yet?
Yeah, we're going to
released?
talk about why it wasn't. And I agree with you. The fact that it was set in China, this particular superhero is all about Chinese mythology, from what I can tell, at least from the copywritten trailer that we've been showing in the background. That's
Everyone
now,
said it should be fine.
yeah, we'll see. Bloody YouTube and bloody Hollywood and their bloody pandering and they pieces of junk. Anyway, from what I can tell, it's all set in China with Chinese mythology. You could tell from the architecture, you could tell from the dragon that was there with all the kung fu. It's all China-centric. So I'm pretty sure they were banking on this being huge in China,
Yeah.
right? Which is what you'd expect. But, let's take a look. The main actor, what did he say? Okay, you can read this out. I'm going to clean the video for people to read. This is what when did he say this again?
In 97. 2017.
2017. Okay, yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, okay. What did he say?
So Simu Liu, he's Canadian.
He's the main actor.
He's the main actor.
He's the guy with the rings or whatever.
Right. And he doesn't pander to China.
Yeah.
Right. Especially back in this interview, he's talking about his parents said they lived in the third world. they grew up in communist China and they thought Canada was a pipe dream where you have people dying of starvation in China from communism, right?
Yeah.
So he and later says, I'm fully Canadian. He doesn't consider himself Chinese. Well, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Just like I'm an American, I don't consider myself German, right?
Sure.
So he's born and bred Canadian dude, and that's fine. And I think he appreciates his culture and stuff like this. But saying something like this back in the day was enough to get netizens raring and riled up,
Yeah.
man.
So the fact that
I'll read some stuff.
he'd said this, let's hear what the Wu Mao or the nationalists said.
So on Weibo, this is what people were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
He immigrated from Harbin in Heilongjiang province to Canada with his parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he's born in China, but relates to Canada. And now considers himself completely Canadian.
Yeah.
This got, just this one little thing, right, when it dropped, it got 1,600 angry comments, right?
Okay.
He said, so one person says, so how does he get off playing in Chinese? Because the whole thing is he has to play a Chinese character, right?
Sure.
But if his character, who's not in the movie, his real man person, said that he considers himself Canadian, what does that have to do with the movie?
Sure. It's called acting.
It's called acting.
People pretend he's pretending to literally be a superhero.
Yeah.
Is he in real life like being able to use these rings?
If
or
he
whatever?
is, we need to have a talk.
Yeah.
How did his parents go to Canada 27 years ago? Were they illegally washing dishes? How dare you?
Yeah.
Right? Just looking at his face brings you bad luck.
What kind of a comment is that?
That's you can translate that in Chinese.
Yeah,
That would be-
yeah, exactly.
Once people obtain, so there's a couple what's it called?
Retorts.
Retorts.
Yeah.
Once people obtain foreign citizenship, they're foreigners. Don't make a big fuss. He's an overseas Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of people said, I don't see a problem with this. But a good chunk were like frothing at the mouth saying, fuck you.
Speaking of all of this, okay, the netizens and their reaction like that is probably one of the main reasons that it hasn't been shown in China and probably won't be shown in China. Who knows? But it would have been released by now if it was going to be shown in China, right? There's another little thing that just happened because of netizens. Little Kyoto, was it in Dalian? In Dalian? They set up this beautiful street.
Is it in Qingdao or Dalian?
I could just take a look at where it was. I think it's Dalian. But anyway, they set up this beautiful street in where was it? Yeah, let's find out. Where was it?
Dalian, yeah.
In Dalian, right? So they set up actually it's part of a big complex. You know, in China they love to do this. They'll take a specific area and then they'll kind of model it after some specific
Dalian
thing.
was Japanese territory.
It used to be, yeah. But they'll model it after a certain thing and then they'll kind of build it. So they'll make like a little fake Italy or something. And then they'll build it all around Italian stuff or a fake France. Or even like that Hallstatt that we went to where they copied an entire, very badly by the way. We've got a video.
I got 2 videos of that.
Yeah. Hallstatt where they took like this town from, where is it from again? Like Austria. And then they recreated it the same way. So they did this, but for Kyoto.
Remember they had steak and spaghetti on that plate?
Just remember how bad it was. Everything was just remember like, what was that dude's name? The artist, what the hell? Burke. Reinhold.
Just tell the story real quick.
So they set up this thing. It's supposed to be this.
Can we do a feature next episode about that?
Yeah, just put it down.
It's so funny.
You got to see Burke's art.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing you've seen in your life. Anyway, we'll feature Hallstatt next time.
We'll show you a fake
We'll
town.
show you everywhere. Anyway, the fact of the matter is they did something similar now, but with Kyoto, and they made this beautiful area where they kind of made it look like a specific Japanese area of Kyoto or whatever. So it's got all the shop signs. It's got the beautiful sakura trees. It's kind of, it's got all the snacks. They had all the, people can go there, wear a kimono, buy the fans, all that, just kind of like a theme park type area, like a themed area. And they had a soft opening where they invited a bunch of people to go in and enjoy the day and take photos. And online, the netizens were like, this is a cultural invasion of China. It's like the Japanese have invaded us again and stuff. And so the place had to get shut down. Can you believe it? After stupid amounts, like $400 million or something was spent making that area.
Right. That's correct.
And it got shut down just because of this. You got to understand right now, China's on full nationalist mode. They are literally on the flip of a switch. They're going to shut anything down if they think that it's not Chinese or not like pandering to the CCP or the Chinese national identity. So this whole thing, which, by the way, set up by Chinese people, set up by a Chinese company, set up by the Chinese local municipality there, all as like a big theme park thing.
Yes, it's all China.
It's all Chinese, got shut down by these like stupid, overly zealous nationalist people. So this is kind of what's happened with this Shang-Chi movie, right?
I can't get over the spelling.
Shang-Chi.
Spell it correctly.
Yeah.
Marvel.
But here's the lesson, though, okay? The lesson, this is what we need to take out of all of this.
Yes.
Hollywood. You were expecting this to do very well in China, okay? Which is probably why, you have a heavy emphasis on the whole Chinese thing. I know it's all part of the movie and stuff, but you were expecting
That's great.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But guess what? You didn't get into China. But you know what? The movie did well.
Yeah.
The movie did
Because it's a good
very well.
movie.
It broke box office, made like 90 million.
93 million or some
in
shit?
its first weekend, the Labor Day weekend.
It's a good
or whatever.
movie. It's a good movie. If you like Marvel movies, it's a great movie.
Hollywood, stop pandering to China.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. You grew your bloody industry away from China. China had nothing to do with Hollywood's growth.
No.
It had nothing to do with your success. And it should have nothing to do with your future. Stop pandering to China. Stop changing your narrative. Stop changing and kowtowing and bowing down to a totalitarian, authoritarian regime just so you can get a little bit of money. Guess what? You can still make your money if you just make good movies and you put them out there to the world like you always have. Forget about this China crap. Deal with your core audience and make what you want to make.
I think the best thing that could have happened is this Shang-Chi movie has a China-centric focus.
Yes.
It's a decent movie, and it wasn't allowed in China for very petty reasons,
Yes.
but people still liked it here.
They still liked
That's
it.
fantastic.
And you know what? It gives a positive image of
It
China.
does, and that's exactly what you want,
Yeah.
right? That's
It
fine.
does. People can look at it and get some Chinese culture, which I'm going to be honest with you, brutally honest. The nice parts of the Chinese culture that movies like Shang-Chi are showing don't actually exist in mainland China anymore. All the kung fu temples, monks, all that kind of stuff has
But the
been
past
destroyed.
deserves to be acknowledged.
Exactly. So they do this nice stuff, make China look good and all of that. That's fantastic. Hollywood, do that, but don't do it to the detriment of, everybody.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't
so
need
none
to.
of this like advertising Mengniu and TCL and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Making
Well, not just that, like actually censoring for Western audiences.
and making like praising Chairman Mao or whatever you have to
don't
do.
praise the frickin' government.
And
And making the Chinese government the savior of the world like they
Yes.
do in some of these movies.
exactly. You want to talk about
Just a quick throwback to Chloe Zhao. Remember, she won an Oscar, and the Chinese government went after her because she said in the past in an interview, mainland China is a country full of lies, and she was talking about the government.
yes.
Everyone was at her throat.
Yeah.
And again, we just wanted to give a shout out to the people that stand up to this stuff.
Yeah.
And have to deal with the rage of Chinese netizens because we understand how it is.
Yeah. What's this about?
Just another part of the ban hammer. This is Jinmin from BTS.
Right.
A very popular dude. So they just banned 22 Weibo accounts, including his.
Oh, his actual one?
Jimin he's like the, I guess like the leader of, sorry, you guys are going to kill me, but he's like the leader of BTS.
Okay.
BTS is very famous.
Yeah, it's a K-pop band. So the sissy pants that have now been banned, that kind of thing.
They're going after that stuff now. Yeah. Now, there was some sort of, I'll read this. It says, fans of BTS crowdfunded on the platform to customize an airplane for the singer's birthday.
It's okay.
Wow, like talk about
that's some dedicated fans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, Weibo accused the fan accounts of illegal fundraising for the stunt.
Okay.
But they said they firmly oppose such irrational star-chasing behavior and will deal with it seriously.
So you're not allowed
the
to
government actually
raise money to buy your favorite plastic boy a birthday present. You're not allowed to do that.
No.
Okay.
No. Don't say that. He's not plastic.
It looks like it to me.
Hey, you are about to I don't... Okay, Winston.
Yeah, what?
You know the CCP is bad, right? K-pop fans are not bad, but I'll tell you what, if you cross them, you are screwed. I am BTS fan for life.
Well, I'll tell you what, the good thing about plastic
what is that?
is...
Permission to Dance. I know that new song. I listened to BTS in the car
Listen,
the other day.
plastic
Pretty good.
doesn't degrade, so he'll keep his boyish good looks for forever.
I think he's very real,
And
to be honest. I
plastic-
think he looks quite natural.
Plastic can be divided up equally and given to, so you could literally
What?
everybody could get, every one of his fans could get a piece of the plastic.
I actually don't think he looks like he has plastic surgery.
No, he just looks like plastic. I didn't see he had plastic surgery.
Oh, I
Does he
gotcha,
not look like plastic?
I think
he's
he looks
shiny.
Awesome. He's a great guy. And at BTS, I'm a big fan. Huge fan. Don't come after me, please.
Anyway, cool.
Anyway, so
Well,
the government told...
They customized an airplane for him. They're obviously pretty, they obviously like him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably a good guy.
Yeah.
Do you remember the BTS meal?
No.
You don't follow anything, do you?
I don't follow this BTS stuff.
It's in
Behind the
America.
scenes.
You live in America, right? BTS is huge in America. They're like number one. So I have to say congratulations to Korea, a tiny country to soft
Cultural
power.
export's
That's a
great.
huge,
It's fantastic.
huge cultural export. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
You're getting a bunch of people that speak English, they don't speak Korean, to get number one on Billboard for a language they don't even know.
Yeah, it's pretty
to the
good.
point where they make a freaking McDonald's meal. They
I
had a
didn't know they had
yeah,
that.
they had a BTS McDonald's meal in the U.S.
Did they have like a Rammstein meal? Because
No way.
Did they not make it pretty big over here?
I mean, yeah, nowhere near this.
Yeah, sure.
Holy crap.
I'd never a Rammstein meal be like strudel or something.
you know
what I
what the
mean?
BTS meal was?
What?
Just guess.
Plastic rice.
No, stop.
No, what is it? Tell me, what is it? I don't know what it is. Botox? Seriously, what is it?
You literally just signed your death sentence.
No, I'm on the fan's side. I just want him to be able to share himself with everyone.
Stop.
Yeah, anyway, what is
McDonald's
What was it?
McDonald's BTS meal was a 10-piece chicken nuggets and Sprite.
Is that it?
Yes. And it sold out.
Whoa.
You didn't even get a toy.
Did you get like a printed, like a card or something with it? No.
It was just you go there and you get the BTS meal and it's chicken nuggets and Sprite.
Okay.
Anyway, so Weibo.
Yeah.
The point of this is not to talk about BTS.
Sure.
It's to talk about why Chinese government's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
They said they firmly oppose such irrational star-chasing behavior and will deal with it seriously. And the government told Weibo to say, and I say this, Weibo is just putting this out, but the government's behind this.
Yeah.
It pledged to purify online discussions and regulate community order.
Regulate community order. So
Because some fans customized an airplane for him.
yes.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, they shut down his account too.
Okay.
6-month ban, and it's because they're trying to cut down on this fan worship thing,
Yeah.
and the sissy boy movement thing,
Right.
And they think that if there's China, not to mention, have you noticed that they haven't gone after what are those guys' names? The soup guys, the unrendered soup guys.
Oh, what are they? The BS
TF
boys?
boys.
Oh, TS.
The fuck boys.
Yeah, TF.
So the
TF
fuck
boys.
boys, the
Yeah.
fuck boys. They
Which is the same thing as a BTS, but like a knockoff.
oh yeah,
low
knockoff.
low rent version.
Low rent version.
Yeah.
BTS is like top, right?
We showed you last time we were talking about the sissy boys. Those guys doing all those dances. Those are the TF boys.
TF boys. So the TF boys are they're
The
Chinese.
Chinese BTS.
They're like Chinese K-pop rip-offs.
Rip off. Yeah.
So you notice they're not getting people aren't going after them that much. So if BTS was Chinese, they wouldn't suffer the same thing.
No.
The Chinese government hates that there's foreign worship going on because Korea is considered a foreign country, right?
Yeah.
And they're also China looks down on other Asian countries. They absolutely do. They see they're the safeguard of Asian culture.
They look down on all countries.
Yeah,
They
true,
honestly
true.
do think that they're the pinnacle of civilization and the best of the center of the world. That's why it's called Zhongguo, Central Kingdom.
While you talk about that, I'm getting a straw poll. Someone wants us. They did a super chat straw poll.
Yeah,
About
for?
Rammstein versus BTS.
Oh yeah, Rammstein.
This should be interesting.
Yes.
This should be interesting. I'm gonna vote BTS just to be the other
Just
side.
to cover your ass.
No, because I love BTS. Huge fan.
It's just, yes.
BTS. You can entertain people.
Okay.
Entertain
I'll
people with the
do-
next thing
Okay. Let's see what comes up next.
because I finished that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm making a straw poll. Rammstein versus BTS.
Like when you're in the military and you kind of hold on to your jacket, like maybe some of you got like an old military bomber jacket from your grandpa or something.
Yeah, we
you know?
covered this before.
I know we
Just a
have, but I'm just
throwback.
saying, like you have this jacket and you keep it your whole life, right? Because it's important. It's got the memories.
Yes.
Like when you went to Taiwan and Japan during your tour
I remember
of duty,
that, yeah.
right? So you went to Taiwan and Japan and you got your flags like embroidered onto your jacket. And then, like 20 odd years later, you decided, I love this old jacket of mine with my touring flags of wherever I went, but you know what? I'm going to tear off the Japan and Taiwan one, and I'm going to put some nondescript triangle and a circular thing instead. In fact, it looks like the Brotherhood of Nod, the second one over there, like the scorpion. I'm just going to do that because sentimentality doesn't matter.
I just want everyone to know the straw poll is now in the description and in the chat. And if you don't see it in the chat, go to the description. BTS versus Rammstein, which is better. Okay, continue. Yeah. So this is an example.
Yeah, like if we get ourselves out of here. We all know Top Gun, right?
I actually watched Top Gun the other day with my wife because she hadn't seen it before.
Oh, yeah.
Such a cheesy movie.
It's
Great
awesome.
movie. Great movie.
It's the 80s, man.
Very cheesy, though.
Yeah, it is. It's freaking amazing. I went to the Top Gun house,
you did.
House.
Remember with your car?
Yeah. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, in the original Top Gun, he has a Taiwanese flag and a Japanese flag, on his jacket, which are historically correct because, that's a tour that they go. They go on the aircraft carrier, they go past and dropping it at those ports. And so they get their thing. But because to pander to Chinese censors, first of all, China hates Japan, And second of all, they hate Taiwan because they think Taiwan belongs to them.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to show the Taiwanese flag in anything.
Right.
And the Japanese flag is not preferential either. So in the new, whatever they called it, they keep digging Tom Cruise up. Have you noticed? He's completely over the hill. The guy, for his age,
he looks great.
He's in great shape for his age. Yeah, sure he does. But it's like, dude, you can't be Maverick no more, okay? You're not this young, full of energy guy.
To be fair, I looked up the rest of the cast.
What? The cast? Yeah, they look pretty bad. No, he looks.
For their age, they look appropriate. But Tom Cruise, he's kind of immortal.
Yeah,
I think those thetons or whatever in your blood from Scientology,
exactly, from
they work
Scientology,
out.
Yes, holding onto those e-meters.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, they've resurrected him again for this new Maverick role or whatever, and he's going to play Top Gun again. But now they've removed both the Taiwanese flag and the Japanese flag from his jacket simply to appease the Chinese censorship and to ensure that the movie, at least attempt to ensure the movie gets shown in China. And this is what we don't need. Okay, we don't need history to be rewritten because Top Gun is a historical document, okay, of like 1986 or whatever it is, America. It's history, okay? Don't rewrite history. Don't take history and flush it down the toilet just because of an authoritarian government, all right?
Agreed.
Okay?
I want to see them reverse that before the movie comes out.
They won't.
I think it'd be really our word if they don't.
If they don't, then
I told you. Remember, I made a prediction. I said in the next few years, it's going to be very unfashionable to censor for the CCP because too many people are cognizant of what's happening now.
Yeah.
Before you could do it, they used to do it because they wanted to. They wanted to pull the wool over people's eyes, right?
Yeah.
The average American didn't know that this was happening, so they don't give a shit. If I asked a neighbor or something and said, "Hey," go knock on their door and be like, "Did you watch that movie with that 3D Pixar movie or something?" And see, they didn't have a map of China in there, or a map of Taiwan. They don't give a shit. Nobody knows.
She's flying into the danger zone with this one. I'm sorry, but this kind of thing takes my breath away. All right?
So, Top Gun references aside,
yeah.
And you're just sitting on more.
I am. Continue.
If you ask them, they wouldn't know. Right? They just wouldn't know.
No.
Now, nowadays, because China is such a hot topic, people do know. Right? People do know. So I think it's going to be very unfashionable to censor for China in the future.
Yeah.
Don't.
Okay. I'm not that cold.
Oh, jeez. Iceman over here.
Yeah. No, seriously, though, don't mess with Top Gun, okay?
Just to remind everyone, there is a straw poll in the chat right now and in the description. Rammstein versus BTS. I quite literally think no one's ever made a poll comparing those two entities in the world.
Yes, you know who I want to win.
We'll check. There are people going ape in the chat for this.
Yeah,
we got our numbers, our concurrent viewers up because of this poll.
It's good.
You guys love these polls.
You got to do it, man. Rammstein versus BTS.
Weird.
No, it's very correct. Is what I'd say.
And don't vote based on our purpose. You're Team Rammstein, I'm Team BTS, but don't vote based on that principle.
No,
vote what you like.
Listen to your heart. It'll tell you what to do. Yeah.
Is listen to your heart in
No, it's
Top
not.
Gun? I was gonna
Period
say.
correct, though.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Okay, so...
Don't goose this up. Okay.
Jeez.
All right. By the way, I got to just talk about this footage in the background because we're moving on to something else here, which is games. It's also linked to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I filmed this in Huajianbei, okay, which is that electronics district in Shenzhen. And I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? Okay. He's got his phone, okay, on one of those like lampstand like things. You know, those like right in front of his face. For those of you who can't see this at home, he's got a phone on like a little mount right in front of his face.
Tripod, yeah.
And then he's
like one of those lamp wire things that you can
yes,
bend.
Exactly. It's a bendy lamp. And he's got a keyboard and a mouse plugged into his phone using a weird dongle type thing.
Yes.
Okay. And he's playing Fortnite. I think it's Fortnite.
No, it's PUBG.
PUBG. I always get them confused.
Yeah.
He's playing PUBG on his phone with a keyboard and a mouse. It's the most bizarre and stupid.
It's so small. It's not even a big phone.
Yeah, it's really stupid. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, in China, the reason why mobile payments and all that took off, and the reason why everything is based on your mobile, is because most people don't have access to a computer in their homes. Mm-hmm. That's why internet cafes are still a thing. But everyone has a mobile phone. So there's so many things weirdly like kind of around mobile phones. You can do everything on a mobile phone. But he's busy playing a game with a keyboard and a mouse on his mobile phone, which is bizarre. And I think it's going to lead to his eyesight getting worse than it already is.
That's an old wives' tale. But
I feel like it's not good for you to do that.
To be that close up to a phone.
No, to that like this tiny little. It's not that. It's this tiny little thing, and he's just like trying to do. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't think it's good for his back.
Yeah.
To be hunched over like that. Now, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No.
This was meant to be in the background while I pulled up another stat that just happened. Or
something else to do with gaming now.
So, you guys know, I put out a video not that long ago, that the Chinese government limited video game playing time to 3 hours a week. So, you got Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday nights, right?
Yeah.
For Chinese kids.
Yeah.
What they're using is facial recognition technology to make sure. So previously they limited stuff based on your ID, your national ID, but people were selling IDs, right?
Yes.
Or you can borrow someone's ID that doesn't play, and you get more hours.
Sure.
So now they're going to use facial recognition technology to make sure kids are not playing on school nights.
Yes.
Kids are pissed off.
Of course.
Not only that, what's happened is that China is now telling game companies, I'll just sum it up. I don't need to read stats. Game companies to not brag or talk about their profits anymore, to make it so game companies don't look like a good endeavor to get into, basically.
Right.
In order to stop games being popular. And they're also increasing the time that it takes for a game to get approved for the Chinese market.
Yes.
Effectively stopping new games from entering the Chinese market right now. Very crazy. Xi Jinping's crackdowns are coming left and right now.
Yeah,
it's
really
insane. But what we thought was funny about this, when we were reading through the Chinese internet, there's a couple theories going around on the Chinese internet as to why this is. Now, if you want to piss off people that were kind of placated before and they're like, whatever, Xi Jinping's a douche, but I don't care.
Yeah.
In order to piss them off, you take away their freaking video games.
Sure, just take away their freedom to do what they want.
Right, because you can make them. It's kind of like they keep calling it like electronic drugs or whatever.
Yes.
Talk about a great way to make a populace just kind of shut up while you go be a tyrant.
Yes.
Why would you take that away?
I know.
It seems foolish.
Yes.
But the theory is, the Chinese government has done really stupid things to try to get the birth rate up.
Yeah.
So they're made this 2-child policy and then 3-child policy, and then they're going to remove it altogether.
Yeah.
And then they're going to incentivize people to have kids, right?
Right.
I have a theory that they're going to punish people for not having kids.
Yes.
The reason is they have to fill the demographic gap. There's there's not enough young people to replace the old people, right?
Right.
So they're going to have not a good working age population. It's going to basically hit the problem that Japan had before it's rich. China's not a rich country. It's a fairly poor country. So you're in a situation where the Chinese government's trying all these things to try to get people to have kids. So there's rumors on the Chinese internet. And again, this is just a joke.
Just a joke rumor, yeah.
But I mean, you never know with the CCP. But Chinese netizens are saying they're going to try to pretty much ban all video games, so that instead of going to be an incel and like play video games all day, kids are just going to bang
and have kids.
And have kids. And they said, if you've noticed, you've seen a lot less propaganda about unwed pregnancies and all this kind of stuff, which they tried to prevent before.
Yeah.
And they hopefully these teenagers just get bored and have a bunch of babies. Which hey, maybe it's unofficial. You know,
who knows? Who knows? But it is pretty awful what they're doing.
We both have a theory about why Steam is allowed in China. Maybe you can tell them that.
Well, you go with yours first.
Okay.
Yeah.
My theory is that because there's barely any games that are allowed.
Yeah.
They have to pass such stringent, regulation and stuff. to be allowed in the Chinese market. I think it's so that it's kind of like the Hollywood situation.
Yeah.
That game companies will say, hey, we can get the Chinese market. People will pay money in China. They won't pirate it. They'll buy it on Steam if we pander to the Chinese market.
Yeah.
Right? So you see, like, this game, this is like some... to be honest, it looks terrible. But this is I hate this country ball shit.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
so
Country ball
stupid.
game. Yeah.
This country ball thing is... You pick your country and then you have these little balls and you fight against each other. But
that's when they...
this is just examples of censorship.
Yeah.
This is from promotional materials from Kingdom Hearts. They airbrushed
Winnie the Pooh
out of it. This was on the promotional materials.
Yeah, I remember.
They airbrushed it.
Yeah, because they were worried about Xi Jinping.
So in this country balls game, you can see in the top corner you have what
Winnie
is
the
supposed
Pooh.
to be Winnie the Pooh / Xi Jinping. So it's kind of a joke, right?
Yeah.
And that should be allowed. Someone made that game. So this is banned, right?
Because of that, obviously.
In China said remove it. It's banned off Western platforms because of this as well. So my theory is that China allows Steam in China just so it can censor for Westerners.
Yes, I think that's what we talked about, is they allow it so that Steam thinks, oh, we've got a bit in the market, but we better appease China.
Right.
There have already been a bunch of games that have been taken off of Steam because of Winnie the Pooh references and things like that.
Correct.
It's happened in the past.
Correct.
Anyway, cool.
Anyway, that was just some older. That's a newer reference. But older references coming up here about Chinese censorship in games. They when World of Warcraft was popular, they removed all the skeletons.
Yeah,
and
we already
ghosts
showed
and
that.
stuff like that.
We've
This
got
is funny. You can talk about this a
the
little bit.
Gwent game
I covered this in my video, but if you guys didn't see it, it's funny.
from Witcher 3, which is ridiculous. Never played Gwent, but a lot of people do. They had to. We talked about this already last week.
Yeah. I mean, skip
Where
forward.
they
It's
just
from the same.
Yeah,
clip,
they
so.
just kind of replaced swords with spoons and things like that.
Right. Yeah, we did
of,
talk about this.
You know, any like the one on the left, the normal version where someone's kissing someone, they took that out and just put the woman standing there by herself,
Right.
which is stupid because it's not even like lewd or
It's not lewd.
sexual or anything.
No,
It's just
a
about
kiss.
to give a kiss. I guess not allowed to kiss people in China.
You'd think they'd promote that to get some more babies out there.
Let's be honest though, like kissing in public is not a thing in China.
No,
You know?
absolutely not.
I at first, like when my first girlfriend in China, I couldn't understand why she didn't want to, even hold hands or kiss in public because it's just not a thing. It's weird. I made a video about that a while back.
Anyway, we don't need to look at these more. We covered this. We just wanted to show you. This is an example of how the games industry does it too.
Yeah. Why do you have that shot?
That's just in the same video. Doesn't matter.
Remember how dodgy that was?
I was talking about how China pretends like it's a moral, non-sexual country because there's prostitutes everywhere.
We were in this little town called Longmen, right?
Yeah.
And this is a typical karaoke. You can see the entrance to the karaoke. They line up the girls. They're actually brothels.
Yeah.
And you go in there to sing karaoke or whatever, and you choose whichever girls. They all come in the room. You choose the ones you want to sing with you, and then most of them are also brothels.
We don't go in them, so we filmed from across the road.
Yeah. So I
with
pulled
a zoom.
Yeah,
camera.
I pulled up on my motorbike and whipped out my Handycam. Actually, got it right.
Yeah.
Well, one of them. This is So whip this thing out. This thing's got an incredible zoom.
It's crazy, 30 times, right?
Yeah, 30 times. Clear image zoom. It's optical. That's how I filmed that stuff in North Korea, remember?
Yeah.
With this. So anyway, I'm sitting there on my bike, and I whip it out. And
I was there.
Yeah, you're right next to me, yeah. And
I was freaking out.
Yeah, exactly. We were both freaking out because we
The
started to
pimps,
get
dude.
attention, and the pimps people started to see us, and we had to get the hell out of there.
Dude, two white guys filming illegal activities.
Yes.
Right? The pimps were pissed. They're breaking the law.
Yeah.
They don't want to get exposed.
No.
Right? So we bolted after
Yeah, we
that.
got the hell out of there. Yeah. Anyway, that's where this clip comes from, for those of you who were wondering about it.
Yeah. You got Winston here. How you feeling, buddy? Today we're talking about the face filter apocalypse. Bloop, 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 bloop. Is this blackface?
She had bad teeth, tobacco-stained teeth. She had a big square face.
What's wrong with a square face, Winston?
And I think that's the worst part of these face filters is that they are a lie. It's not reality.
my mind work.